How are you, sir?
Hey, Cory. How you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Hey, everyone, this is Cory Yeager. We're going to be talking to him after you just saw me throwing punches with him. Again, I'm Julian Sato from Pivot to Change. We're going to learn a little bit about Cory and see what makes him tick and how he felt about doing this boxing today. All right? So, Cory, how you feeling?
I feel good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Was that fun?
It was great. I feel like if you had the gloves on, we would be in different positions right now.
Yeah.
Mine would be on the floor.
No, I think, well, maybe. So, yeah. So I thank you for doing that. I mean, that was actually a fun little allegory of what we've talked about in the past about business and how it works. And, you know, one thing you and I discussed in our business conversations is that things aren't always as they seem. There's these little nuances that really make up the difference. And so you saw that in boxing had nothing to do with your arm power strength, right? It has a lot to do with mechanics, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about how that allegory fits into your story and what you do and what you want to get your message across about, okay? So talk to me. So give me some of the habits that you think are like equivalent to your success, like some of the things that you do that separate you from maybe somebody else.
I have a mindset of always learning.
Okay.
I want to bring in as much information as I possibly can on various different subjects. I try to be an inch deep and a mile wide in just about everything I do. If I find something I'm passionate about, then I dive in pretty deeply, but I like to just be kind of aware and have a knowledge base of not just in the business side of things with what I do professionally, but in my personal interests as well.
Okay. So in going with that, so give me a little example of that. So give me a habit that you have. Like you work out, obviously. Yeah. I mean, you just came from an exercise before we did this, which might be why you're tired. Yeah. You know. Yeah. So I mean, so you exercise. Would you attribute that to some of your successes, that you have a balance between your business and your healthy life?
Oh, absolutely. I've always been an athlete and then a coach, and then I'm kind of moving back into that athlete side to where I need to learn and train.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of making that analogous to what I'm doing from a work standpoint.
What kind of coach were you?
I was diving.
Diving, okay. So give me some ideas of how diving equates to what you do. I mean, how does that work?
There's nuances, details, and then there's the sound base. All has to be put together to make what you see on the Olympics, like what you see on TV. There's so much behind that, which, I mean, you teaching me some boxing moves over there, I didn't realize how intricate that was.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a bunch of strong guys beating the crap out of each other, which it is, but there's a whole lot of technique to it.
Exactly.
And the same thing applies to the business world and the market that we're in right now with the changes in the market and how much innovation is available. So being at the forefront of all that technology and innovation is pretty key.
Okay, cool. All right. So tell me more about what you do. Like, give me an idea of your business and what you guys do.
We work with organizations to refine and design rewards programs, benefits programs that are going to do a number of different things depending on what their goals are, whether it's cost savings, engaging employees, attracting employees, improving just giving what's needed in the life cycle of that employee where they are in their career. I mean, for instance, we have a 4-generation workforce right now. Never before seen that way.
Right.
5, some would say.
Right.
So
some from millennials and the Z generations all taking
all
jobs.
The way to baby boomers, yeah,
right.
Absolutely. And being able to be malleable in that market space and attract employees and keep employees of all ages and backgrounds is key.
So you guys focus on helping companies retain employees?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, what you offer as an employer is part of that.
Okay.
And that's kind of the message that we like to share, that it's not just a health plan. It's not just insurance. It's about the risk of losing those people.
Yeah.
And where does insurance or risk combine to provide the delivery to your employees that's going to benefit them.
Okay. So what's the thing that employer needs to think about when it comes to like the things that they might be missing at this point, based off of your own observation of boxing and its little intricacies? What is things that maybe they might be missing? They might think it's just a bunch of guys beating each other, but what is it that they don't get?
A lot of it's culture.
Okay.
When it comes to delivering and building a proposition for your employees, taking into account all the different nuances that are going to be involved in that person's life is really key. Whether or not it's a benefit that's paid, or it's just a perk, or it's just having healthy snacks in a lunchroom or a break room or something like that. Putting together a program that's going to build a culture of health and wellness across, not just from a physical standpoint, but also involving like financial, social, emotional. Bringing those resources to employees can be extremely valuable, considering the ultimate goal is to have more productive employees, more engaged employees, and then drive better business results.
Right. So interesting. So with that said, so let's talk about that, because we talked about right cross. We did right cross in the training. We talked about the power punch, but it's really coming from the body, which is not from the arm so much, right? So give me some ideas, like what are some things that you took advantage of that you see that other people should take advantage of when it comes to like in your industry or even in business? Like what are some of the things that you just went after that really changed your life, that put you in the position you're in right now?
Well, about 6 years ago, I decided to completely change my life.
Okay.
Completely.
Really?
Do a 180.
Okay.
I quit coaching. Did not have a job lined up. I essentially burned the ships.
Wow.
So to speak, and wanted to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And it took about a year of searching, and when I found this market, I kind of went for it, and I had to put together a resume in order to, even have an employer talk to me.
Right.
So I took the best job I could find at the time, built up a little bit of a resume, and then met some people in higher places, and was given the opportunity that I had now. And there was some interesting ups and downs, and when you talk about employers and what employers deliver to their employees, there was a 6-month stint in there where I worked for an employer I shall not name.
Okay.
When they let me go, it was the greatest day of my employment there.
Wow.
It was a horrible situation, and just from a quality of life standpoint.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to help employers turn around or improve what they're offering.
Interesting. So that's because that goes back to the 8 count. I hit you. There's a part where you hit the ground where you're like, you're tired, right? And I hit you. I showed you some body shots and stuff. So would you say that was like a hit in the gut when they fired you? Was it like oh my gosh? I mean, that was it a shock to you? And you're like, what am I supposed to do now?
Financially, yes, but I had a vision.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I definitely was working towards a goal, and it took about 7 or 8 months to get things moving again. But I found the position I wanted to be in.
So that passion you have, does that come from your sports training? That desire to push?
Never afraid of a challenge.
Yeah.
You said you want to box, and I said, let's go.
That's right, you sure did.
The only thing I won't do at 38 years old is jump out of an airplane.
You really won't.
I'm perfectly fine.
That was the next thing on the list.
I'm perfectly fine with breathing. I'm going to keep it this way.
All right, no, good. Now, it's interesting you said that. You turned your life around. Like, what inspired you to do that?
Oh, man, a number of different things. I'd say the first one on the list would have to be the opportunity to experience more, see the world more, see more of the world, and yeah, that's really what I want to do.
Yeah. So you want to travel?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so with that said, though, you had this vision. Let's go back into historical, like everybody's defined by their past, right? We all have a history. So is there a thing in your life that put you on the ground that you were like, I don't know if I'm gonna get up from this, but for whatever reason you did, and certain things transpired that actually helped you get there, but it hit you to the point where you were like, I don't know if I can get up from this?
Yeah, no, that happened in my early 30s. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, about 7 or 8 years ago.
Can you share anything?
Kind of put me onto the path of that.
Is this something we can talk about?
Oh gosh, it has to do with a lady.
Okay. Did she hurt you?
No, it was more so my fault.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
But you own it.
It was 100% my fault.
Okay, but you own it, right? You take ownership.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
No, yeah, there's no doubt about that.
You know, I can't tell you how many people I've asked that question. I would say 90%, it's a lady.
Yeah.
It's a relationship. So in your business, how do you feel like, what's the challenge you have in your business with, like boxing? You have an opponent. What are the things that you're dealing with when you're trying to share your passion and help companies know the value of what you offer? What are some of the things you're hitting against the wall with?
Resistance to change.
Okay.
We've done it this way, and this is how we do it.
Interesting, because that's kind of the weirdest thing right now in our culture, because nothing is consistent. I mean, everything's changing so.
Change is changing.
Yeah, they even changing how they spell it. You know, so
Yeah.
it's like it's just everything's changing so fast. So how do you overcome those things? I mean, what are some of the things you're trying to get out? What is the message you want people to know about you, and at this point that they can hear about it?
Really, it's just being open to conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Every business is going to be unique. Every organization has its own culture, and what's going to be the right fit for them. Really, there's no formula to it whatsoever. It's more so of bobbing and weaving with what's going to be acceptable, what's needed, and really kind of just finding a healthy balance in what change can progress in the amount of time that you want to get it done.
Yeah, I noticed that too, and I see you brought it. That's great. You learned bob and weaving, but it's all about adaptation to the environment, right? Learning your opponent. And right now, our society needs to learn the opponent is the culture. I mean, our own culture is hurting. I would say the dogma of business, the way we've done things. We can't keep it that way. So, good point. So, would you say that your business is really built on relationships and digging a little deeper into how the company operates, and they need to open up to allowing you to know a little bit about their home versus than to just assume and keep going status quo?
Absolutely. Personally, I like to bring in experts in whatever is needed for each individual organization, connect them to the right people, and see if we can find the right solution.
Okay.
It may not always be the right fit, but
Yeah.
at least, if they're having a particular problem, locate the right expert and create a conversation.
Awesome. Okay. If people want to find you, where can they find you?
On LinkedIn.
Okay. So it's Cory, Cory.
Yeager.
Yeager. Yeah, okay. So that's where they can find you and learn more about what you do and stuff like that. So what we want to do is, if we want to box again, I'm more than happy to do that. I mean, I would love to throw some punches with you again, but this time we'll just put some headgear on and some mouthpiece.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I don't want to mess with you.
No, I don't want to mess with you. So, hey, a pleasure. I'm glad you came out and talked and threw some punches. I appreciate it.
All right?
Jimmy. Thank you guys. Hope you guys learn more about Cory and what he can do for you, and we'll go from there. Thanks.